Today's Wednesday, October 18th, and the stock market will be opening in about 22 minutes. I thought I'd get a head start with a chart review regarding a position I'm currently holding involving the E-mini S&P 500 futures. The ticker symbol is /MES, and as of the time of this recording, the S&P 500 futures is quoted at $4,381. And since the futures market started trading last night at 6 p.m., the S&P 500 is down 21 handles during the overnight session. So this is a chart layout at the 7,000 tick level, which means each candlestick represents 7,000 trades consisting of both the buy side and sell side. This is the current candlestick right here. Actually, this is the current candlestick that just started trading a minute ago. And right down here in the bottom right corner, there's a little meter. And at this point, it's tallied up 881 trades having been executed. So whenever this hits 7,000 trades, a new candlestick will be created. So during this look back here, S&P 500, from my perspective, was just range bound between 44.15 and 43.73. So heading into yesterday's open, S&P 500 was at a high of 44.13, and then when the stock market started yesterday, price came all the way down to 43.68, and even went a little lower before completely reversing right back up to the upside. So, and then after price broke above local support resistance of 44.15, there was no further continuation. Price started rolling over, which it finally did, and then price found some footing here at the midway point between each of these support resistance levels. And then during the overnight session, price just went sideways essentially. And now price is slowly breaking to the downside. And what I did was I kind of got caught up in this choppy area over here during the overnight session, but I'll get into that in a little bit. But right now I'm sitting on a short position, meaning I'm bearish on the S&P 500 heading into the end of this week. So with that, I picked up option contracts that expires this Friday, October 20th. And relevant to my entry price, when S&P 500 was quoted at 43.87, I had selected the 43.75 put. So essentially what this contract is saying is that on or before the close of October 20th, I'm anticipating the S&P 500 will be at or below 43.75. And if that does play out, then this is, from my perspective, a classic representation for a two-legged pullback. And what I'm referring to is that this high right here of 44.23 would be considered as the first leg. So from this high to this low is the first leg. And that is followed by a little bump up, which is right here at its height, and then the second leg would be equal to the first leg. So if this does play out like that, then ideally or potentially S&P 500 could be below 43.65 by on or before this Friday. So I thought I would capitalize on this move to the downside. So with all that said, also what I did was, again, I got caught up in this choppy mess during the overnight session. So here, this was at the bottom, then price ran up, and then at the bottom, right? This one was a run to the upside. This was a strong candlestick to the upside. And of course, what happens? It didn't make it all the way to the top of the range, but quickly started fading right back down. And then there was this probability that price was going to bounce off here again and run back up. But at this point, that's when I jumped into a short position. And right now, there was a retest to break above it, and it seems to be rejected here. So this was once support, could now be actually be resistance, meaning that price is having a difficult time getting back inside this range. So switching over to the trade tab. So this is a mess right here. So I was in 3 trades. I was in 2 puts and 1 call. This trade right here was on the bullish side, and that's where I got caught. I lost $52, and the other 2 were small gains because, again, during the overnight session, it was very, it was so erratic. I mean, it was so choppy. Like it was really hard to see. I mean, in hindsight, with this gray box laid out, it's clear. Yeah, it goes here, it goes there. But in real time, there was no way to gauge how high this was going to go, right? So here you would think that the top, well, let me adjust it here. So at this point, you would think that the top is here, but then price ran up, and then because of these 2 follow-up green or bullish candlesticks, you think there was a breakout of this range, potentially running higher, and then bang, I got caught, and then price drops, and when I went and shorted it again, price ran up. I was fortunate to get out of it before further damage was there. So right now, so this is the range for what I had to deal with as the overnight session played out. But fortunately, I was able to get in on the short as it was breaking to the downside. So for the purpose of time, I'll go ahead and pause it. I'll do an update if and when price breaks below 43.73. If anything, I'll probably do an update when the futures market starts trading again later tonight. So until that update, more to follow. So quick status check. The futures market has been open now for about 5 hours, and it's heading into the overnight session. So quick status check. Price has fallen well below what I was anticipating to be equal to the first leg, as the premium is now quoted at 43.33 and a quarter on this current candlestick right here. And during today's trading session, during the stock market, price fell below this choppy mess over here, and then price had made multiple attempts to fall in or go back into this range, but there were multiple rejections each time. So there was this 1 rejection, 2 rejection, 3 rejection, and then on a 4th attempt, there was a strong move to the upside. And as this was developing, it looked like it was going to continue higher, but then quickly ran into this wall and then started rolling over back down. 43.73 didn't hold at support, but was now acting as a strong resistance. Again, multiple attempts to break back above 43.73, each attempt failing, and price heading even lower. And of note, this 43.50 was also acting as support as price was moving to the upside. And here we see the 43.50 holding at support multiple times. This was all from last week. So major change in the support and resistance levels. So I will continue tracking this. There's 2 more days, well actually 1 more day after the clock turns to midnight, with 1 day remaining in the life of this trade. So switching over to the trade tab real quick. The option contracts are now designated ITM or in the money. The premium is now quoted at 51.75, and the P&L is reflecting a positive balance of 292. And It's unfortunate I didn't add more to this, but I was kind of, again, I had a bitter taste because of this choppy mess. So I kept it minimal too, but at least I'm a participant on the downside and able to capitalize on this move here. Based on my rough estimates, I don't think the market's going to recover anytime soon. I think the earliest estimate would be sometime next Wednesday or Thursday for some sort of sign of recovery. I think price is going to continue trending lower. We might be heading back to 4,250 maybe, but well below 4,300. So I'll go ahead and pause it again. I'll do another update heading into tomorrow night's overnight session as well. So until that update, more to follow. Today's Thursday, October 19th, and the futures market has been open for a little over an hour and a half now. So I thought I'd do an end of day review or recap from what happened in today's bloodbath. So where I last left off was at this candlestick right here. And since then, price made an attempt to break above 43.50. And there, the market sold off. And then heading into the afternoon session, the bulls stepped in, tried to break above 43.50, somewhat successful. Quickly made another attempt to break above to 43.73, didn't make it all the way before the market sold off. One last attempt, and after this attempt, the market just gave up and price started trending lower to the point that price fell below 43.10. The dotted line, it's just a visual markup to a 50% deviation from my 43.50 Mendoza line. So consolidation here, price trying to break above 43.10, and that failed as well to the point that heading into the futures market open at 6 p.m., the low is 42.90 and a half. However, I don't think this is going to end during the overnight session. I'm looking at these two levels. I'm not sure which one of the two is the strongest to hold support, but in any case, I am looking to either closing out both contracts or one of the two contracts at one of these two levels here. If either price does not hold at support, 42.70 being the last resort for some sort of bounce heading into tomorrow morning's opening bell. Worst, actually doomsday scenario in this case is price comes down to 42.40 heading into tomorrow's close. At some point, I think price is going to come down to 42.40. Either later tonight or sometime tomorrow, midday's trading session, we'll see 42.40. So with that said, switching over to the trade tab, the premium is now over a little over, well, actually it was up around $620, but now there's a green candlestick forming, so it's swinging pretty wildly here. So the premium is 81.50, the P&L is up 590, but during this time period, what I'll do is I'll continue tracking this because, again, with 1 day remaining, actually come midnight, this is going to go to zero. So with only 18 hours before this contract or all of these option contracts go worthless, I need to take action because essentially at this point, this is a race against time, not against price. So, yeah, what I'll do is I'll create an alarm here just to notify me that price is coming down. Otherwise, I'll create another alarm up here to notify me if price does break above, let's say 4,300. I want to be notified because I would consider closing it out regardless. So I'll pause it again, and I'll be back with at least one more update for this futures trade. So it's Friday, and the stock market's been open for a little over 40 minutes. So during the overnight session, price just essentially went sideways, but since then, price has tested 42.75 as I was anticipating. Unfortunately, it didn't happen during the overnight session. Unfortunately, because of this choppiness again, that bitter taste still got to me. So when the market opened around this area, that's when I closed out the position. I am no longer in this trade. So switching over to the trade tab, my position is 0, and the premium is $101. And I sold out when the premium was at 75. So actually this premium is right here. So 43.75. The ask price is now 128. So had I held on to it and sold it at 128, that would have been a little over $1,000. But when I sold it at 75, I was only able to profit $525. So, I mean, it's still a profit, but unfortunately, again, that sideways really got to me. But nonetheless, what I'll do is I'll switch over to the option chart. So here's the option chart for my 43.75 strike price put. My entry price, I picked up those 2 contracts at 22.5, and I sold those 2 at 75. So real quick, I sold it at 75. The multiplier is 5 because this is a fifth of the contract. One option contract is 375. I picked up 2. So when I sold the 2 contracts, it was a gross net of 750, and the minus 225 for what I paid to get into the trade. So not too bad, 525. Again, unfortunately, I didn't hold on to it. Otherwise, this would have been twice as much. But anyway, it's still a profitable trade. I was able to identify the break to the downside, as choppy as it was, and the trade worked out well. I'll continue tracking it, but it appears that there could be some signs of a bullish move sometime next week. But I'll continue assessing the setups for a potential entry. So until the next trade, I'll see you.